Welcome to the Northern Powerhouse interview series, where we're unashamedly spreading good news by interviewing Northern businesses and their successes during the pandemic. Subscribe to be notified of new interviews or click the link in the description to take part if you'd like to be interviewed yourself in a future episode.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Northern Powerhouses Business Success Stories. So we are joined by Edward Wick this afternoon, who is co-founder and managing director at Penguin FM. So thank you ever so much, Edward, for joining us. We really appreciate it. So can we start off by, can I just ask you to introduce yourself properly? Can you tell us a little bit more about what it is you guys do?
Yeah, certainly. Obviously, thanks very much for the opportunity to do this, Vicky. But yeah, here at Penguin Facilities Management, we are a leading facilities management provider based in Leeds. We offer our services nationally across the UK, and we cover both the hard maintenance provision and soft maintenance provision for any commercial client, whether it be on their buildings or in their wider estates. So what does that ultimately mean? It means that we are the sole provider for a client to provide them with all of their maintenance and servicing needs, from air conditioning units through to boilers, and even incorporating their compliance requirements for their emergency light testing and statutory EICR installation testing. So essentially that is what we do. We offer that 24/7, 365 days a year. And we do it obviously on the pre-planned basis and also from a reactive point of view. So when things do go wrong, we're on hand to put them right and ultimately minimise their downtime for those vital bits of equipment that keep the buildings running behind the scenes. And then on the soft servicing side, we're offering services such as window cleaning, contract cleaning, security, grounds maintenance, and all those other items that keep things presentable and in a nice environment for people's buildings. So yeah, in a nutshell, that is what we do.
Just a little bit to keep you all busy, just a little bit.
Yeah, there is a lot going on with it because there's obviously so many multidisciplinary trades within all of that. So yeah, it can be quite full on, but we've got a strong help desk team who man the phones 24/7 and the emails, and we run everything through a computer-aided facilities management system, so it helps streamline things and yeah, keep things nice and organised.
Amazing. So how long have you guys been going, Edward?
So we've been going for 4 years, but we can ultimately trace our roots back a further 2.5, 3 years. Myself, I started out as a commercial window cleaner. I'd started a company when I was just finishing off my master's degree. I used to work for a commercial window cleaning firm, and they were wanting to take on more people. So I said, well, if I buy myself a van and some equipment and went self-employed, I could pick up some of that work for you. And so it just really ran from there. Got to the end of the master's degree, and I was sort of doing better than what I would have done if I'd gone into the career that I'd studied for. So I thought, I'll keep going with this, and yeah, did commercial window cleaning on the tools myself for 2 years or so. And then my business partner, Rowan, who obviously now I'm in business with in Penguin, we sat down, got together and discussed what we wanted to do long term, and both of us wanted to move into facilities management and offering that wider spectrum of services all under one roof. So we established Penguin Facilities Management together, and we've gone from there and grown out our service offering from just a single stream service of window cleaning, through now to the entirety of it.
Wow, what a cool story. It must be a really cool story for when you bring anyone into the company to be able to tell them, right, this is where I started, this is what we did, this is where we are now. It's brilliant. Such a cool story. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's good because we've been there and we've been on the front line, so to speak, from day one ultimately. And then it's quite a nice story as well to be I'd say probably the most overqualified window cleaner to have ever existed. But there you go.
Fantastic. So facilities management, this might seem like a silly question, but how, in light of what you guys do and what your service offerings are, how has the last year affected you guys?
So in terms of the last year, obviously back through 2020, in all honesty, it hasn't affected us in a negative sense. Last year in 2020, we saw growth of over 250% in our revenue.
Wow.
There were certain aspects in there that were ultimately, a little bit affected, but as an overall picture, as a company who are still in a strong growth phase, we've been relatively new. We continued with that growth, and it was actually stronger growth than what we saw in 2019. Obviously there is other factors that will have contributed towards that in terms of a growing sales team and improvements in marketing and stuff like that. But through 2020 and the last year, we've seen really strong growth. So we couldn't sit here and say that we've been negatively impacted by it. We've picked up on opportunities that have come our way, and we've run with it.
Amazing. So tell us about some of the challenges that you have faced.
Yeah, so in terms of challenges that we have faced, with what's gone on in the last year, certainly we do a lot of fit out and refurbishment works through our company as well. And one of the big things has been, supplies and dealing with suppliers, getting materials into the country and being reliant on those lead times of materials has been challenging, because it's ultimately meant jobs have been pushed back or projects have been delayed because of materials not getting to site. And ultimately as well, on the maintenance side of things, there was a part that we needed for a boiler, and it ended up going from being a 2-week lead time, and it took 6 weeks for it to eventually get into the country, which isn't ideal. So that's probably been the biggest challenge from a operational point of view. From a sales point of view and a marketing point of view, what's been challenging for a lot of the guys has been, whilst we've still been operating and in the office, and we didn't furlough any of our sales team throughout 2020.
Wow.
We wanted to keep on with that to drive the sales and income inquiries through the door. For them, it's been frustrating because the people they wanted to talk to have ultimately been furloughed. So that was a challenge to keep people motivated and keep trying those avenues of to generate new leads within the sales team. So those two are the two biggest standouts of challenges that we did face. But we managed to overcome them and come through it well.
Amazing. So you mentioned the team, you mentioned specifically sales function. You guys have a lot of moving parts and a lot of people involved in what you do. How has it been for those guys? How's it been for the team over the last year?
Yeah, so with them, I suppose, they've had peaks and troughs of times, from a sales perspective, you've got the lows of not really being able to generate leads and struggling with that. But then you've got the highs of when you've had successes and contract wins or contract renewals. I'd say for them, it has been up and down. But in terms of keeping them motivated, we've wanted to, not say, well, you're not going to be furloughed, you're going to carry on working. Let's sit down, let's put a strategy in place, let's work with marketing on how we can, generate the best and give you the best support possible to keep generating leads and opportunities for yourselves. And ultimately as well, everyone's been catching up. So everyone who hasn't been in the office, we've all been on a weekly Zoom. We've taken an hour out of the day to catch up on that. We've done things on an evening to get everybody together. Normally that's been replaced with, staff drinks after work, hasn't it? It's a bit different when you do it yourself from home, but it keeps everybody together, keeps that sense of community and family that we really want to, nurture within our business. So those are the things that we've been trying to do to keep everyone motivated. On the wider office team, as I said before, we sort of sat down, we have had some people who've still been in the office throughout, so it's been a little bit better for them, the more that interaction, yes, with a limited capacity of numbers in the office, but that's I'd say that's been a little bit easier for them. And then our guys out in the field, they've had to adapt to different protocols, getting on and off sites and different working environments. And for them, I'd say they've probably taken it in their stride as good as anyone. And things from that perspective. And, they've had less contact with the office. People wouldn't be dropping in to come and see people and all that stuff. They've sort of stayed very much in the field. So bringing people together to be able to jump on those weekly Zoom calls and having that contact, albeit online, has been key to keeping everybody together. And then as well, just picking up the phone and having a conversation with people, because it's when you see people day to day or every other day, you don't necessarily need to pick up the phone and catch up with them, because you just see them and, you know, you've got that contact. So been trying to encourage everyone is, if you're missing someone and you want to have a natter with them, just pick up the phone and have a chat.
Brilliant, brilliant. So what about you? What about you? You know, you come into work one morning and all this craziness has gone off, and all of a sudden you have to react, and none of us know what's going to happen or how long it's going to last, or what we have to do. And whilst you guys are essential workers and may not have been affected, you know, in the same way as somebody else, you guys have still been affected. You've still had to make changes and make adaptations.
Vicky, I've lost
a little
you.
bit, Ed. I've lost you.
Yeah, I've lost you too. You've frozen.
Oh, there you go. You're back. You're back. Did you get my question?
I got most of the preamble, but I don't think I got the punchline.
The actual question was, how are you? You know, as a leader, how have you been?
That's a bit of I suppose I've never really thought about how I've been. All I can say is it's just something you take in your stride and you press forward with it. I mean, you know, I haven't really sat down to think about how I feel and how I've dealt with things, because ultimately, I suppose ultimate answer is I feel fine and great, and it's been another challenge that as we've had to step up to and react to and ultimately overcome, and we have. And that's, as leaders who like challenges, and I'm someone who always wants to push myself and have new challenges to overcome, and I get a great satisfaction out of doing that. So it's been something I've relished and sort of come out the other end, and it's just been another small bump in the road, so to speak.
Wow, look at that. Cool, calm and collected about the whole thing.
There's probably been times where we've had some stress in there, but it's you got to keep a level head with it all.
Absolutely. So what about the some of the adaptations that you've made? You've got some of your workforce at home, some of the team at home. You've got, I can see some people talking around behind you. You've got some people in the office. Is there anything that you're going to keep hold of? Any adaptations that you've made that you think, do you know what, actually, we're going to keep doing that?
In all honesty, I don't think so. I think we're as keen as anyone to get back to having everybody back in the office and moving forward on that. I mean, I don't like this term, the new normal. I don't see what the new normal. I mean, what does it even mean? I don't think anyone really does.
I don't think we know.
From my point of view, we're just going to go back to way that the world was. We're going to be working through the normal procedures that we're working through. I think, yes, it might be a little bit easier for us to sit here and say that, because ultimately we haven't had that many drastic changes to how our company has had to react and adapt to the situation. But ultimately, we all just want to get back to how it was before, and that's how I see us as a company doing it, because ultimately that's what's driven our success over the last 2-3 years is doing what we're doing. So making drastic changes around that, I don't see how it would support us.
Brilliant. So what do you think the team are really, I don't want to say new normal, I was going to say new normal then, and I'm not going to use that term with you. What do you think the team are looking forward to the most?
The honest answer to that is staff drinks after work.
So many people say exactly the same thing.
I know, it's amazing how much such a simple pleasure in life has been missed. But I think ultimately, on a note from a sort of work perspective, is just being everyone to get back into the office and everyone to have that sense of community and family again within the workspace. We're a relatively small, tight knit team here in the office, and would class everyone as genuine friends, from owner, director level all the way through. So getting the team back together and everyone being able to just from a day to day speak to someone, have those little interactions by the coffee machine or it just makes all the difference. It's ultimately what makes us human, isn't it? Is that interaction with everybody and doing it on our terms and when we want to do it, not when we can.
Absolutely. It's those little things that I think we've all missed the most, isn't it? That hopefully, you know, I hope I don't take for granted again. You know, I think a lot of us are going to appreciate the simple things moving forward.
Yeah, most definitely.
So tell us about the biggest win you can take away from the last year.
So the biggest win it's probably one that only came a month or two ago. It was a national contract for Easy Bathrooms, who are, as the name suggests, a bathroom and tiling company. They've got 74 stores across the UK, and they engaged us to first start looking at their Yorkshire stores during 2020. We brought those, you know, into a good FM package to maintain them for them, and then we got the full sign off on the national contract at the beginning of 2021, and we're still in the process of doing it, but we have rolled out that national contract to start delivering all the servicing, maintenance, reactive works and repairs to the entirety of their property portfolio. So in the last 12 months, that has been our biggest success story and our biggest win. And hopefully in 2021 there'll be much more to come on board with that.
Definitely. And I guess, you know, for the team to be able to celebrate that as well, you're celebrating the wins, I think, are even more important right now than they ever have been. So the guys been able to celebrate that. Have you had your Zoom drinks to celebrate the contract?
Yeah, we managed to have our Zoom drinks to celebrate it, but next week we've got a night properly booked in for everyone to go out and have a celebration, bit of dinner and a few drinks. So yeah, and you're entirely right. You've got to celebrate those wins, no matter how big or small they are, because at the end of the day, when you deliver on what everyone's striving to achieve within the company, people need to have that small tangible reward that makes it even sweeter.
Definitely. And I guess for your guys, you know, being salespeople and having those frustrations the last 12 months of not being able to get a hold of the business owners, not being able to get a hold of key decision makers, you know, to be able to then, you know, have such a big achievement must be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, well, it's credit to them, and you know, it's the fantastic team, and everybody who we've got in here is striving towards the same output, and you know, what they do is fantastic, and it's a pleasure to work alongside them, and when the rewards are there to let them, you know, benefit from those rewards as well.
Brilliant. So with the whole experience of the last year, if you could go back to last March, knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done differently?
I would probably have secured supplier orders a lot sooner, and pre-bought all of the materials that we might have needed for the 12 months afterwards, and that would have made life a lot easier and a lot more straightforward. But ultimately, it's one of those questions. It's hard to, you know, hindsight's a great thing, and if something drastically goes wrong, you always look back and you wish, I wish I'd done that differently. But sitting here from, you know, a sort of blessed position of a company which has, you know, done well throughout the past 12 months, you know, I couldn't sit here and look back and say, you know, we would have done this differently, because I feel you've got to, rather than look back on what's happened previously, whether it's good or bad, you've got to set your sights on the next target, the next thing that's on the horizon. Because ultimately, if you spend all your time looking back at things, you're never going to be able to see what's coming in front of you, and that's ultimately what, you know, we all need to keep our focus on is how we deal with the things that are ahead. The things that have gone in the past are done and dealt with, and unfortunately you can't do anything about them. But what you can do is obviously learn from it and hopefully draw on that experience into the future, any other challenges that may come your way. And I suppose they don't always have to be challenges. They could be benefits, positive things, and your previous experiences can help you deal with them in whatever way you need them to.
So what are some of the positives that are coming for you guys? Tell us something that you're allowed to tell us. What's something exciting that the future holds for you guys?
Well, we've got we've just started rolling out a new workshop, which is going to be delivering all of our bespoke joinery. So we're now going to be able to manufacture on a much larger scale, bespoke wardrobes, bespoke shelving units, tables, all of that sort of stuff. And we have just had a sign off on a very, very exciting project for a hospitality client of ours, to fit out a rear courtyard area, which is going to be something really special. And that's our new workshop is going to be able to, they're going to be the first order through the door, and all of the stuff, it's all going to be movable modular units of bench seating with heated seats in them. And canopies that are all made out of a Rocco teak effect timber, and a fully built bar out there as well. So it's going to be something really special. And that's one brilliant positive that we've had, to go hand in hand with the new bespoke joinery. So yeah, that's great. And then moving forwards from a full FM perspective, we've got a lot of hot prospects at the minute where we're in discussions about getting final contracts signed off. So we've got potentially some fantastic new contract wins, where we're very close to getting the deals over the line, which should be being launched and rolled out within the next 2 to 3 months. So we've got a strong positive pipeline of things on the horizon for us.
Amazing. And my final question for you, Edward, is what do you think you've learned the most about yourself as a leader over the last year?
I think most I've learned about myself as a leader is I'm very sort of calm, collected, and able to rationalize things very well, and look at things from a perspective that isn't one of panic or reacting too much to a situation in an emotional capacity. I think making the decisions, you've got to be rational with them, and you can't have someone who's leading in a flappable position, and you've got to ultimately lead with strength and composure, and instill that sort of composure and throughout the rest of you, because if you're panicked and not sure what you're doing, then everyone else is gonna follow suit. And then ultimately as well, I think not having someone breathing down your neck at any little mistake that you make took quite a laissez-faire approach, and sort of gave the responsibility of and not micromanaging everyone in their individual capacities, and having that belief in the team that they're going to deliver on what ultimately you employ them to do, and giving them your trust and instilling that trust within them for them to go about and succeed in their tasks of what they need to do, which then ultimately contributes to the overall goals and objectives of the company, and it creates an environment for everybody that isn't a pressure cauldron which is about to blow at any time.
Brilliant. Listen, Edward, thank you so much for chatting with us, and for sharing your story of the last 12 months and previous and beforehand. We really do appreciate it, and the positivity that we can take from it. The wins that you guys have achieved. Those are the kinds of messages that we want to share. So we really, really appreciate it. Thank you ever so much.
No problem at all, Vicky. Appreciate it. And I think, everyone just needs to have that positive outlook on things. I mean, maybe stop watching the news a little bit as much, because it's full of negativity, and believe in yourself and what you want to achieve. And anyone who says otherwise is just trying to hold you back. If you truly believe in something and it's what you want to go and do, give your all to it and really go for it and grab it with both hands.
I think that's exactly what we should leave everyone with. Amazing. Thank you so much.
No problem. Cheers, Vicky.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. What was your takeaway from today's interview? Please post it in the comments below, and subscribe for all our upcoming videos, or click for the next video here.